evening, all. Ira Epstein of Linn Associates with your financial market wrap-up for this Wednesday evening, August 25th, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. So today, I think the market's tired already of hearing about the Taliban issue. We saw that Ms. Pelosi, and I wrote last night, never bet against her. She was able to maneuver a deal out for a further vote. That's all that I think she could have done at this point in time. Looks like they're going to get passage on the voting bill, but nothing's been done on the budget. Nothing has been done yet on the infrastructure plan or the reconstruction plans. So don't think those are done deals. And the president's rating's down to 41%. I think the lowest since he's taken office. Everybody gets a jolt to the downside. We'll see what he can do later as he gets another chance. But as I said, the first time you see an American or people that served us in Afghanistan, God forbid they're back on TV with ISIS cutting somebody's head off. They won't show us ever that, but they'll tell us it happened. The rating's going to go down for him again. He's got a lead weight around him, and I don't see if he can get out of it. I'd love for it to happen, but I don't see a good ending here. Can you imagine all the Jeeps, Humvees, bullets, rifles, night vision, all the stuff that they're getting for free? They can't fly the helicopters and airplanes that we're leaving there, the Taliban, so they'll have to recruit people or sell those for more money, and then they can do more of whatever they want to do. Keep in the back of your mind, this is a country that nobody's really conquered except the people that live there. And trying to rule a government with all these different tribes, I doubt the Taliban can do it, but we'll see, and I certainly hope this is a new face for them, but I have my doubts. Okay, so we take a look at the markets, and what do we have Friday morning? We kick off the Jackson Hole Symposium. Fed Chairman Powell will give his speech. The market's going to react to it and look to see what he does. I've gone on record here and elsewhere that I don't think he's going to do anything. He's sort of in the place that the New Zealand Central Bank was. As much as he might want to, or the Fed wants to do something and talk about tapering, how do you do that when you got 1,000 deaths a day, 150,000 cases a day of new COVID, and this is what you're going to do? It could happen. I don't think it makes sense, and I'm using that as one of the excuses. That will give them time to look at the data coming out right at the beginning of September, the jobs data and that could be once you're over that hump, and if we're at the other side of COVID where maybe the numbers start falling, that will be the good news. But it'd be pretty rough to turn on your TV, people dying, hospitals have no beds, and the Fed's begun its tapering. I'm probably wrong, but it doesn't sound right to me. Here you are sitting up there, and I was watching volume today. I even heard early in the morning as I was watching Tom Keene on Bloomberg how light the volumes were, and they are. They're light. This is all because you're coming to the end of the summer. Kids are going back to school in Chicago. Everybody on Monday, the kids are back in classrooms. And of course, there's huge fights. Should they wear masks? What do they have to do? Delta Airlines today, before I move on this, if you work for Delta and you don't get vaccines, you're going to pay $200 a month more for your insurance. They estimated that if you get COVID and you go in the hospital, it's a $50,000 bill. Their premiums will go up, so they're going to hit you for it. Remember, I used that word ostracize. That's just another way of doing it. You're going to see how clever these companies get to get people. If you don't want to get vaccinated, fine. Some people other companies will not let you in the office. I think Goldman's headed that way right now, Goldman Sachs. But new all-time highs. I was on Bloomberg today in Canada, and they were asking me about this. I said, how could you be bearish? I said, the market keeps making new highs. You get these corrections. They don't last, and the market goes up and keeps rebounding. You'll see in a moment here what I'm talking about. So you have higher high, lower low, you come back up, and now suddenly with the outside day up you have higher highs and higher lows. A warning sign will be if you take out 44.76 and a quarter, today's low, that the market then wants to return to the 18-day average about 30 points lower. Why? That's often the case. If you take out within 2 trading sessions, the low of an outside day up. You go back on your chart and you look at the percentages. You'll see them. I read a study today from the Wells Fargo, and they were talking about over the past 30 years, what happens when you get a stock market that goes up like we've had in the first, let's call it 3 quarters of the year. What happens in that last quarter? I can tell you. I know. You get the Santa Claus rally, you get a market that doesn't revert on that, and I think that's where we're headed. I think we're headed higher into the end of the year because when this COVID peak does come in, we still have supply chains that have to be filled. They just opened up the Chinese ports. People are flush with cash. People are going to go back to work because the government aid ends in September. I happen to be thinking that it's all good news ahead. We'll see if I'm wrong. But in looking at it, if you got there, I'd be looking for the market back at the 442.75 level. And you're in the resistance zone. You're right at that upper Bollinger Band. Pay attention to that. Take that enhanced Bollinger Band course on our website. It's under the word education. It's not expensive. It's quite a few chapters that teaches you and shows you this for spiders, ETFs, stocks in the futures markets. I think it applies in all. When you take a look at the momentum, you're overbought. So you have an overbought market that's rallied back to a high percentage area where the market backs off, and you went there. That's all I can say about it with another event from the Fed chair. Do you have to break? No. But are you trending? Well, you are. Remember, on these, I've got the arrows pointing up. So you are in an uptrend, but you're terribly overbought. I should have gotten rid of that one. I just missed it, that they're up there. You need to embed to prove to me that there's another level coming, and then I'll jump right on that. I don't see that at this point yet. In the NASDAQ, okay, so we got a mini gorilla glue. What does that mean? Markets that want to get bullish all of a sudden attach themselves to Bollinger Bands. If I can find, areas here. And it drags the slow stochastic with it, and it often causes it to embed. Well, you're not there just yet. You're at the point where you're dragging it with you, but if we get rid of tonight's numbers, both numbers were not over 80 at the close of business Wednesday. This is Thursday's numbers already. It's going to make you wait and see what happens to the reaction of whatever Fed Chair Powell says. I've gone on record. I think he won't say anything. He's not going to upset anything at this. The Dow did the same pattern as the S&P, but it's not in a new all-time high. It's got higher lows, higher highs, the outside day up. If you take out today's low, and that number was 35,229, I then look for the 18-day average, and the chart have to readjust itself. You're also overbought. Let's assume it doesn't do that. Then I'm going to look for stiff resistance at 35,631. In the Russell, the market has a higher high, lower low. The major support was again found right here at that 18-day average of closes, and the market has come back. But again, this was beaten down terribly, so it's just playing catch up at this point. In the bonds, you left the uptrend. With today's action, this is what you looked like coming into today, Wednesday. The market still had a pattern of higher lows, higher highs, but it had come down to the 18-day average. I said if you take out that low, you break the trend. It's exactly what occurred. You don't have a trend now, and you're drifting in front of that Friday speech by the Fed chair. The VIX, I still contend if you were to get to 1420, you'll see aggressive selling of that. But as this market moves down, remember, it's almost a signal to you that unless it goes up sharply, the stock indices are still in the bull camp. 10-year notes have been in a downtrend. They're just breaking down. This is how the market came into the day. Lower highs, lower lows now, and goal 133.07 is the likely target. So that's why you're seeing the yields jump up on the 10-year. In the dollar, what about when the market was up here and I was telling you, I think the pros got out. You're overbought. You're against the Bollinger Band. Snuck your head up, and now I look pretty darn good, don't I? I'll have a good dinner tonight over that one. Eurocurrency, the flip-flop, it's a mirror. Remember, 40% of the dollar index is weighted by the euro. So if Dollar's going down, this is going to go up. That's typically the play that happens. Does it have to every time? No, but typically that's it. In the British pound, you ended a downtrend, you got up high enough, but there's nothing here that I'm seeing on the chart. It's just downside bias, not trending, was oversold, you got to bounce. Bitcoin, I'm still very friendly this market. Now, it is flirting with trying to lose the embedded reading. On the pullback today, I think the pros bought the market, and I think they're looking to see, can it get up to 51,690 now? That's the new target in it. They'll be watching this. You don't want to get a close where you lose that. But again, you got down today right here to 47,065, and you've turned the corner in this market, as you can see, and you're back up from there to 48,940. I'm throwing these numbers around like they don't matter, but that's a $1,000 move. The good news is you can play these with those 1/10 size tokens now. And what's wrong with that? That's a cool way to trade these. Why is this spread widening out? Think about this. The U.S. has said they're going to sell a large amount of our stockpile. I think it's 20 million barrels of oil. Going to do that right away. You'll get bids from different parts of the world. Our own people might get on it too. What else is this time of the year? You're now getting ready for the maintenance where the refineries in the U.S. start converting over from gasoline to the demand for heating oil and jet fuel. So as that happens, you go into a shutdown. Well, if I'm a refinery, why am I buying oil right now? I have enough on hand, most likely. So it adds to the differential. That doesn't mean oil can't go up. It means it won't keep pace with the world price of the Brent, and that's typical. This is not out of line with what it's doing. So you got a lower low, higher high scenario, and you're overbought. Somebody else can have it. All that matters here is the downtrend ended yesterday. It really ended two different levels, one time here and here. You got a nice bounce and then you fell again. And beyond that, no. Whatever the other guys want, as I said, the way that I like to teach is let somebody else have that extra gravy. That's not where the meat is. That's not where the filet of the trade is. And now back up, you're not in a trend in this market, and that's how I'm at least looking at it. When I look at the WTI crude, same thing. You broke the downtrend. You ended your trends. Both of these hits right here. As far as I'm concerned, from that point on, whatever happened would have happened without me telling traders to follow that. And it was a good-sized break. It's not about catching every part of it. It's about taking that slice out if you can do it. If you can do it. In the heating oil, straight up and away. Remember what I said, there's two markets that I'm liking for the winter, heating oil, natural gas. So you just write down for yourself, could this be the low that we've now seen in the heating oil before we get into the fall and winter seasons? I don't know, but I know that I'm going to be looking at that. And in nat gas, this is the correction. Natural gas is in big world demand. We'll see what happens. Is it got a trend? It does not. Any close now, though, over the high here of 39.89 does put the market into a bullish phase. Today you had an outside day up. If you take out the lows of today, the odds favor you go back to the lower Bollinger Band. To be wrong, you'd have to go over today's high. Got that? But you'd have to break down first, not take out the high first. That would be how I'd look at it. I talk about this, and there are publications that talk about things like this is profitable trading strategies for modern trader for any type of market. Now, these are the different chapters in this. And I think that if you don't have a game plan and don't understand, you get yourself into trouble. These are really good. These are great things for any trader. They're timeless. I love to dig out things that I've had on hand that I think are timeless because people think that things change. They don't change. As a chartist, they don't change. They get better. There's more volume. They get better. So you learn how to follow things like this. You need the basics. If you don't get the basics, you just become one of these people. Oh, I'm just going to buy it because it looks cheap to me, or I'm going to sell it because it looks high to me. Well, that's called go to the tombstone area. You know, I wish you the best. Maybe you'll be successful with it. But to get some of this and more of our free stuff, just go to our website. On the bottom right, you'll see our free offers. Take advantage of them. I'm Ira Epstein. Have a great day.